Morning. Just finding whether we're live everywhere. We're definitely live on YouTube. And we're live on Facebook too. So I'm just sharing to the Fairy Hugs Facebook group. I see we've got a few people on Facebook. Morning, Jean. I imagine you must be on Facebook. Let's get rid of that laptop. Hello, Christine. This is my first live of this year. I'm sorry I've been off the grid a little bit. I've been moving house. Hopefully I'll get into it a little bit more. I have done some videos though, so you can find those on my YouTube channel. Morning, Alison on YouTube. So while people are jumping on, hi Sue. What I'll do is let's get rid of that, and we will just go through first of all some of the design team samples, just to give you something to look at while everybody's jumping on. So we'll start with Art Angel actually, I mean the theme of the new release is, you can see apart from the title, is Bees and Rainbows. It's the first Fairy Hugs release for this year, obviously because we're only a couple of weeks into January, and rather exciting actually because it's a really lovely release. We do have a couple of fairies and some mini fairies, some bumble fairies. This is Rainy, and she's there sat on the honey wand, which is a really useful stamp. It's the honey wand is like the thing that you get honey out with, runny honey. You know the thing, don't you? Anyway, so that's Art Angel. I'll quickly go through these. This is inspired. The dancing bees. Everybody needs dancing bees. I've ordered loads of them, but of course I expect they will run out first. And I love the way that Art Angel has made them into rainbow colours to go with the looking up sentiments. And here's the honey wand with lots of dancing bees on them, and Art Angel has coloured the wands in different colours of the rainbow. All the samples that you see from the design team aren't using the brand new papers that we've got because we didn't get them in time. I imagine Tanya might be using them on Create and Craft today, and I'm going to be using them in the demos. And I think this is wonderful. The honey wands upside down, so they're like lanterns, which is kind of inspired. And we've got the floral hive there and some of the dancing bees, and also Art Angel for the foliage has used the berry twig, which is a new one. We've got one dragon. This is Riggin, and he stands on top of lots of different things. He's on top of the floral hive there, and you can see we've got the ivy heart corners, heart vine corners they're called, around the edges, and also Anya's heart trees as well. Rainy on top of the rainbow arch, and that's the allow yourself sentiment. Here we've got the rainbow in lovely vivid colours, and that's the other fairy, that's B-E-A. and the Looking Up sentiment. Of course, the bee, the bees feature all over the place. This is the acorn balloon, and the little flowers there are from the floral hive, which Art Angel's cut out. And we've also got the heart vine corners and the berry twig on there. Another one with the lovely rainbow arch and bee, and I love the way that Art Angel's coloured bee in, so she's lovely and colourful as well. And we've got the Anya's heart trees there and the Looking Up sentiment. This is the honeybee house, or honey house, I think it's called. We'll get to it in a minute. Sorry, they're new, so it's hard to remember all the names. And we've got some of the dancing bees on the honey ones again. They feature all over the place. And the heart vine corners around the edges. Again, we've got the acorn balloons here in a DL type card. And the little stars at the top are from the Star Arch, which is another really useful stamp to have. Floral hive again with some of the dancing bees and lots of foliage around the edges. This is sentiment called Three Things, and you can see there's gaps between the three sections of the three things. So it's very easy for you to divide that sentiment up into separate sections and use them in several places on your card, or just use one section. So that's a really useful sentiment. And those are the heart twig arches around the edges. And let's go back to... Who should we pick next? This is Jess Barnes. So the samples that are going to be shown in the studio at Create and Craft today are from Jess, Art Angel and myself. Obviously Tanya will be taking some as well. So we're all UK based, and from the States there's just Bonnie's sentiments coming, Bonnie's samples coming in. And Bonnie's done videos with a lot of hers, so I've shared a lot of the video links, and you'll see when the products go live on my website tonight that I've included a lot of Bonnie's videos on the product sheets as well. So here, Jess has used, this is a paper from the Misty Whisk paper pad, and she's got the honey house there, that you've got the texture, that's the honeycomb texture on the edges, and you've got bee flying in there. Another one with the honey house, and you've got the bumble fairies and the trumpet vine around the edges. I love this one with the, these are the honeycomb stacks. There's one right and one left, and they work really well obviously with the dancing bees. Jess has also used the Star Arch coming in just at several places, and she split up the Three Things sentiment, which is what I said to you, you can do that, and he works really well doing that. Lots of foliage going on here. We've got Anya's hearts trees, we've got the arch twig, what's it called? Heart twig arches, put my teeth in, and trumpet vine, and the three, that's the allow yourself sentiment cascading down there with the bumble fairies. I love this one. This is your heart vine corners. Obviously Jess has used a stencil to do the heart. You've got a couple of dancing bees dancing together, and those are little heart flowers either side of them. The acorn balloon here with a dancing bee in each one. Again, she's split up the Three Things sentiment into separate places, and she's used Riggin the dragon, and he's a kind of fire, if you like, coming out of his mouth. It's a steam stamp from the tea and coffee collection. Floral hive here with bee flying in. That little bee there is actually from the trumpet vine stamp set. Jess has also used the honeycomb texture in there. And don't forget that within the Fairy Hugs catalogue there is a set of 5 little bees already, which is obviously going to go really well with this collection. We've got the honey wand here with the dancing bees on top. You can see a faded rainbow arch there with the looking up sentiment, and Anya's heart trees. This is beautiful, isn't it? Now that's the Shimmer Gust paper pad that Jess has used with this one, with the acorn balloon, and then just the trumpet vine around the edges with a little bit of colour added to it. I really like the vintage feel to that. We've got Rainy sitting on top of the rainbow arch here with the star arch all over the place, and then we've got the sentiments, which is called, let me try and find it. That one's called Look For, and it's two separate sentiments, so you're either looking for the star or the rainbows, or in this case looking for both. Another lovely one here with the fine heart corners and the little heart flowers and the allow yourself sentiment plus the heart twig arches. And then quickly go through Bonnie's. Bonnie's done a fantastic one with the doing a pattern building with the honey wand here. She's got the berry twig in there, and one of the dancing bees. I want to say bunnies, but they're dancing bees. And again, the little bee there is from the trumpet vine. And she's got hexagon there with the allow yourself sentiment. You've got lots of dancing bees there, and there are videos to go with all of these. And there's the heart twig branches. She said this one today. Rainy sitting on top of the rainbow arch, and I don't know if you can just about see there's some raindrops there in the background as well, and that's from one of the new papers. That's from the Pollen Wing paper pad. So those kind of white areas are actually on the paper itself, and the Bumble Fairies. I love this one with the honey stacks and the Anya's heart tree, the three things sentiment, and the heart flowers, and the little dancing bees. And that paper is from the Evening Field paper pad. Morning, Marlene. Here we've got the floral hive with the trumpet vine. We've got Bee, the fairy, and we've also got the allow yourself sentiment. This one's just spectacular. I love this. Again, this one's from the Evening Field paper pad, like the previous one. We've got the acorn balloon, the three things sentiment, the honey house, and the dancing bee. And then she's also used the clouds, which is an existing stamp. Here we've got this from the Pollen Wing paper pad. We've got Riggin with the star arch and the one of the look for sentiments. And then we've got the DT, Alison's saying the DT creations are brilliant, such a fun release. They are, yeah, the DT samples are fantastic. Then we've got the rainbow arch on here with the dancing bees. We've got the heart vine corner and the honeycomb texture. Again, there's a video to go with this. I'll just quickly go through mine. So we've got a honeycomb texture in the background to make the background paper. I stamped the rainbow arch with different colours, 4 different colours of the Versifying Claire with the dancing bees on top. And don't forget that you can use the things like your glossy accents and your clear gel pen on the wings, which is very effective. And you've got the looking up sentiment. This is one of my favourites. This is from the Morning Willow paper pad with the honey wand and the dancing bees, the Bumble Fairies, the acorn balloon, and the two sections of the three things sentiment. Honey house here on the Misty Whisk paper pad with the heart twig branches, the three things sentiments. We've got bee flying in and the Bumble Fairies. So if you're not into fairies, of course, you can just make the sentiment the focal point. So I've used the allow yourself. I've used my Mama Makes Rotate Mate with the little flower stamp from the Rainy set. So Rainy the fairy comes with 2 flowers, a right and a left. And then we've got the heart vine corners on there. This one nearly ended up in the bin. It was much bigger when I first started, but I wasn't happy with it. Couldn't turn it over because you could see the ink through on the other side on this one. It's a tumble shine paper. We've got Riggin there standing on the Honey Stacks paper stamp, and you've got the heart twig corners and one of the sections of the Three Things sentiment. So Rainy, you can have her sitting on lots of different things. You've seen her on the arch, and she can sit on the star arch. She can sit on top of walls, all sorts of things, just with a little bit of masking. So this one, she's sat on the kind of ledge of the honey hive. So you stamp her first, and then you stamp the hive over the top of her. And you've got some of the Bumble Fairies and the Allow Yourself sentiment, and that's on the Tumble Shine paper pad. I've done a few tags. So this tag is a variation of the blue card that you saw here. So it's the same kind of layout, but I've masked off the honey house, and I've got the stone pathway from a previous release coming down. Either side we've got the flowers from Rainy's set. We've got some honeycomb stacks with some dancing bees. We've got Anya's heart trees in the background, bees flying in, one of the sections of the Three Things sentiment, and then some of the berry twigs just coming in at the top. And this is a smaller tag. We'll see if we can do a variation of this today. With the floral hive and the dancing bees, the trumpet vine as well, and the hello is from the fairy words. A few rainbows here on a tag, with some dancing bees holding the heart flowers, and we've got the twig heart arches coming in there. And another one that has a focal point of the sentiment, again, the Allow Yourself. Now, if you wanted a sort of an A6 or a rectangular card, then obviously you can use the Three Things sentiment, and that works very well. And I've got the trumpet vine and one of the heart vine corners on that one, and that's Petal Shimmer paper pad. This is the Tangle Whisper paper pad. So you see all of these are going to work with all the existing paper pads. So we've got Rainy here sat on the star arch, and I've used it several times to create like a trail of stars around the sky, because I thought this paper was kind of cloud-like, although it's pink and blue, I thought it was cloud-like. And we've just got one of the sentiments from the Look For. And finally, I've got this one where I was playing with my Rotate Mate. I've stamped Riggin, stood on the honeycomb stack, and I've got one of the flying dancing bees that I've stamped using the Rotate Mate. I've got the star arch there on the inside of the bees, and one of the sentiments, or one of the sections from the Three Things. So that's what I've got to show you. Of some of the samples. There are more samples than this. I know Art Angel's done a really nice book, but anyway, so that's a start. There's going to be plenty to look at. It is only 2 hours on Create and Craft today with Tanya. It's at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. As far as the stocking's concerned, I've got my stock here, which is why I've got the paper pads for me to play with. And it will go live on my website, juliaroxcrafts.co.uk, for shipping to UK addresses from midnight tonight. I'm not allowed to give you a discount, and I'm also not allowed to sell it before midnight. Anyway, there they are, and I'll pack them over the weekend and post them on Monday. Also, if you're outside, I know not everybody's in the UK that's watching. If you're outside the UK, you can actually get the collection from fairyhooks.com for worldwide shipping. Okie dokie, let's start. Let's first of all, we just have a quick flick through. In fact, we won't. What we'll do is we'll do our demo, and we'll flick through, as we go. So my first demo, I'm going to use the Pollen Wing paper pad. Hopefully we're not too dark here. Are we all right with the light? It trouble is, if I put a light on, then we get shadows, and shadows are a bit annoying. So as always, we've got 6x6 paper pad, 24 double-sided sheets, 24 designs, 2 sheets of each, and the 216 GSM. Sorry about this tear here. It's where I've taken the seal off. So yeah, so they're all really good weight. They're all brand new papers. They're not papers that you've had before. So they're inky. Some of them have got, like I say, the splodges out of them. They're like bleached areas, if you like. They've also got this kind of texture going on. You can just about see that, but it's completely flat. So it's nice to, thanks Alison, it's nice to stamp on. Now obviously something like that might not be your cup of tea, but if you took, for example, the Floral Hive and sat that in there and then built your scene around it, that's going to work perfectly. So don't be scared of them, and of course if it's one you don't like, you've got the other side that you can use as well. So but really good quality. Anybody that's had the paper pads in the past will know the quality of Fairy Hugs paper pads, and they always sell really, really well, and I'm expecting to probably sell out of those as well. So that's what I'm using for my first demo. Let's grab all my stamps. Oh, as they're probably going to fall on the floor. I've got quite a pile of stamps that I'm thinking about using here. My ink pads. I'm still struggling to find everything where I am now. I stand and I look around at the shelves and I think, where have I put that? Where have I put that? So this is the paper that I've chosen. We've got that on the background, so they're both really usable. Morning, Jackie. And I've kept it at the full 6x6, so I haven't cut anything off it at all. So we have a plan. So the plan is to use the honey house, and I'm going to have it, so you could have it here or wherever you want really, and have and mask it and have the arches, because you've got two lots of arches. You've got the heart twig arches, and you've also got Anya's heart trees as well. So you could have those growing around either side if you wanted. But what we're going to do is we're going to have it, I think, coming off of the page a bit. Or do you want to, where's it gone? Oh, Ed's up. Ed, I'll show you where Ed's been living in a pod. He's a bit restless today though. Ed pod Ed. The first 10 days when we moved, he lived under Jason's duvet. Bless him. Because there's nowhere for him to hide in this house. Right, so I also thought what we might do is have some of the honeycomb texture coming in, maybe at the top, in a lighter colour. We're also going to have, I like to have a plan first. Morning, Hazel. The wind, there's no wind here today actually. There's been a lot of wind, but there's been a lot of rain as well. So we're going to have the honey wand, and we're going to have one of these honeycomb stacks as well. So I think we're going to have that one facing that way, and we have a couple of dancing bees on top, and we're going to perhaps have Bee coming in as well. Bee the fairy. See, she's got like a honey skirt on, so she's going to be coming in here, and we might have part of the Three Things sentiment coming in at the bottom. So I have got a plan. Where's he gone now? I don't know where he's gone now. He's here somewhere because the door's shut. Right, so let's go into our stamping platform. Oh, first of all, actually, let's not go into our stamping platform. What we'll do is we will stamp that honey texture at the top. So I don't want a massive... Oh, sorry, you know, it's never a Facebook Live without knocking it, is it really? Oh, I'll have to have that Now mine obviously is a little bit stained because I've used an archival ink with it, and I may well use an archival again. So I've got some choices here of what I might use. I've got a couple of Make Art ink pads, Sunflower and Orange Blossom, or I've got archival ink pads. I've got Tea Rose and Pink Peony. I think the archival is going to be the colour that I want, but I'm not sure how juicy it is. Oh, slurp of coffee before it goes cold. Oh, I burnt myself on the oven. It's not as bad as it looks. It's not very pretty, but I don't want to put loads of stuff on it to hide it because that might affect it. Right, so let's just check that these ink pads are juicy enough and what one I want to use. I think I might want to use the pinky one actually. It looks a bit mucky and it also looks a bit dry. We'll see. Yes, that's a bit dry. We won't be using that one. The little ones they tend to dry out quicker than the big ones. I don't know why. Probably because there's less area for the ink to set in. Oh, that's better. Is that going to be too bright? That's the question. So what we'll do is, see if we can get a second impression. No, right. Okay. Let's just go with it, otherwise we'll faff, and we won't actually do any stamping. But that's definitely inkier than the other one was. So let's just have a little bit. Off the edges. Can't you get in your pod? Do. That just gives us a little bit of interest at the top. Put that away in a bit. And we go into our platform now. And we will place our... I'm not going to colour in. I will colour in over the weekend at some point, but I'm not going to colour in today. I want to just do stamping today. So I want to make sure that because this has got a honey wand on it as well, I want to make sure that that's actually touching the ground. You do actually see the backgrounds through your colouring in, so you have to kind of think about that, but you just have to just get over it really. Right, we'll have it there. And I think we'll stamp this in a brown rather than black. Things over. Let's go for Acorn, which is my go-to of the browns from Vers Van Cleer because it's lighter than the Pinecone and the Ford Images. What's the matter with you? The papers are brilliant because they'll take the ink but they won't suck the ink up, which means that a lot of the time you do get away with only stamping once. It does depend on how solid the stamp is. Do give it a chance to actually sink in. And do remember that Vers Van Cleer will take a while to dry on these papers. So don't, when you're colouring in, be careful not to swipe your arm over it. So yeah, that's beautiful, isn't it? First time stamping. Oh, that's not so good down there though. That's a bit better. Right, okay. That's our honey house. So remember, these are photopolymer. They're made in the US. They are really good quality photopolymer. So they're going to last you a long time. You know, I don't really clean them unless, say if I wanted to stamp this in yellow, then I would clean it because the brown is going to come off. So just bear that in mind. There's my honey house thingy. Lost it. I'll put it somewhere. I'll sort that out later. Right, so next we're going to get our little bees or our honey wand on. Oh, that's, didn't stamp that very well. I didn't notice that. Oh, right. Let's put that just there like that. And go for this in brown as well. I've got a Pigma Micron in brown, so I'll go over that there. It'll be all right, don't worry. I was so interested in all the detail there that I didn't look at the solid line there. Practice, Julia. Right, so there's our two little bits that are going there. Let's make sure this is butted up into the corner. And we go for the acorn here as well. Oh, that's my that's my what's the Go Power and emboss machine. It's the plates rattling. Okay, so there's our honey stack and honey wand. Useful little stamps. As I say, you get a right and a left with the honeycomb stacks. So fetch them all out. Honeycomb tip. That's honeycomb texture. Honeycomb stacks. And really useful stamp. I love the way that Art Angel had this one upside down, hanging as a lantern. Fab. Absolutely fab. Now where's our dancing bees? There they are. So we can have, let's see, we can have, what we've got is we've got two that are flying, and then we've got a right and a left and one that's kind of face on. So let's have our right one on here. And we'll have, I want one on top of the roof because we can put one on top of the roof here. So let's have that one there. Obviously, you know, if you could have that one here as well, you know, just stamp them, you know, in 2 sessions. But let's have this one here. He looks a little bit bewildered, let's say. And we're going to stamp these in black. So we're getting our nocturne out. They're such fun. They really are such fun. Happy New Year, Di. If you get a chance, Di, watch from the beginning because I showed you all the design team samples. So there's lots of inspiration. There is actually on the Berry Hug Store Facebook group, there is actually an album that's being set up for the samples from the team. So as we share them, we'll put them into the album as well. So that's always a really good point for you to actually have a look. Crackling's getting on my nerves. Never noticed it when I was on my own. How are we doing? They're good. They look fab, don't they? Let's hold it up so you can see. Here we go. Our scene's getting going. Yeah, it's there. So it'll be there on YouTube and Facebook forever, basically. Okay, so put our bees away. Which one's that? That's that one. We'll be using these again. Dancing bees. Of course, we've got the dance. So these are our fourth lot of our dancing animals, because we've got the frogs, the bunnies, and the penguins. I couldn't get any more penguins when I placed my order this time. They ran out of stock, but as they're winter, I'm not sure whether we want those so much. Now, so bees flying in here into the house, and she could be kind of scattering kind of sparkle dust or flutter dust or whatever you want her to scatter. We could have the bees holding some heart flowers if you wanted. I don't think we will do on this one though, but that's a possibility. So let's get the bee into the scene. Again, we're doing her with, hopefully, yeah we are, with Nocturne. I wondered if it was brown then, but it's not. Yeah, Hampshire's going okay. Could do with it not raining so much, although it's a beautiful day today at the moment. But as you know, it changes very quickly. So much rain. We've got a leaky conservatory roof, which is a bit annoying. But it's alright. I've got a man that will fix it. Oh, a little bit of a wing. I'm checking these properly now. Let's get that bit of a wing going properly. There we go. But you can see that they stamp brilliantly first time round, and it's to do with these papers. I mean, the quality of the stamps is excellent anyway, but these papers really help you. So if I'd have stamped that on watercolour card, I would have had to definitely do kind of 2 or 3 times. She could be scattering pollen, absolutely. She could be scattering seeds. I was only saying all the dusts because those are the stamps that we've got. We don't actually have a pollen stamp, but maybe we should have had a pollen stamp. It would have been good, wouldn't it? So for our sentiment, we're going to take the 3 things, and we're just going to have the magic section of it. And we're going to put it down here, I think. So I haven't finished up the top yet. So we're going to have magic lives in the little things. That's all we're going to say. We've got quite a lot of space down here. So we could have something else, but we're just going to have that. In fact, if I do it like that, I won't have to do any masking. Which will be good. It is easy to mask that stamp though. And we do this in black as well. Fairy Hugs do smashing sentiments. Jean's saying the sentiments are lovely. They really have really got a handle on sentiments now. There's quite a nice catalogue of them. So on my website, which I'll remind you is there, I have now added a Fairy Hugs section at the top. I mean, it's in the brand section anyway, but I've added a Fairy Hugs section, and there's a little drop down menu on that, and you can actually select the type of stamps that you want. So if you're after the fairies, if you're after this collection, if you're after the music and ballet, if you're just after sentiments, all those that sort of information, you can actually you know, be specific about what you find. I just thought it might be easier. It is a work in progress. It's not perfect, but it's there if you find it useful. So now we're just going to use the berry twig. And what colour shall we use? I want to keep with this kind of theme, these kind of colours. So I think we might go for a pink. So we could go for Charming Pink. I think that's going to be a bit bright. Or wonder if Purple Delight. Chianti. Chianti might be nice. Let's have a look at Chianti. What would Chianti look like? Let's go for Chianti. See what it looks like. That's nice. Look at the detail on that stamp. Ignore all the other things on the other side because it's only a piece of copy paper. So let's have some of these berry twigs coming in. What you can do, because they're quite far apart, is you can actually fill in the gaps because they're like a V. So if you can see here, then you can take more ink on that. Like that, so you can really fill it in. Just one more. Like that. So that's kind of really kind of giving you a bit of a, I want a bit more there, change your mind, come on, bear with. I know it's only a little bit, but it's not really finicky. I've got it all on my fingers. Right, so I think we're done with that scene. I could do some more. I could do more foliage down the bottom, but I don't want to overdo it. And if we just, I'll colour it in at some point over the weekend, and we can pop it onto a piece of black card. And there's our first scene. Okie dokie. So I'm just reading your comments. So it is very easy to create a really pretty scene really quickly. Obviously use your VersaFine clairs, but sometimes be careful if you're going to stamp on top of a VersaFine clair, because it sometimes bleeds, which is why I've got archival at the top with stamping that over. Right, so there's number one. Let's put that safe in there, and we'll grab number two. So for number two, we're using the other new paper pack, which is Evening Field. And Evening Field is kind of almost like, oh, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of faded. So you've got lights and darks. Again, you've got that texture going on, that sort of netted texture in the background. But you can see you've got quite dramatic deep colours, but it's always lighter on one side. But going through the rainbow actually of colours, again you've got 24 sheets, double-sided, 2 sheets of each, 216 GSM. I know one person who's going to be multi-buying. I won't mention any names. She knows who she is. So I picked a yellow version of this one. Again, I've left it 6x6. We're not doing very too bad for time, actually, are we? Considering I spent about 15 minutes looking at samples at the beginning. How's my coffee? I bet it's nearly cold. Do remember on Facebook to join the Fairy Hug Store group. We love to see your samples. We really, really do. And don't be scared. It's a very nice group. And it's just lovely to see other people's takes. And there's always something to learn from somebody. And you know, even if it's something that's gone wrong, we'll still learn from it. So please, please, please join the group and share your makes on there. Right, so we have a plan, kind of. So we're going to use I thought we'd better use the rainbow, seeing as it's called Bees and Rainbows. So, and we're going to use Rainy, and as I mentioned, Rainy comes with a right and a left flower, and you can see on Bonnie's sample here, she's actually used the flower on the rainbow as well. And don't forget there is a video of that. And we are going to pop Rainy sitting on top of the rainbow. We're also going to bring in the Looking Up sentiment, and I think we're going to have that over here. And because we can have things sitting on top of sentiments, we're going to bring Riggin in. So he's thinking, what's she doing on there? I wonder if I can jump from here and land on top of the rainbow arch and knock Rainy off. That's what he's thinking. And then because we're dealing with arches, I'm going to bring in some of the star arch around in the corners just to fill that in. So it's not so much a scene as just a bit of a composition, if you like. I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. So I think to begin with, what we might do is we've got to stamp Rainy first. Before the rainbow, but I want to make sure I get Riggin on as well. So I think we're going to do this bit first. Might be wrong, but that's what we're going to do. And obviously with the paper you can choose to have the dark side at the bottom, or whichever you want really. And it's quite nice to either stamp the rainbow in multiple colours, or it's very easy just to get your pens, and it will take the watercolour blending brush pens, pencils you can use on the papers as well, and I think some people have used the alcohol markers, but just try it on a little scrap first, just to see whether they work. Right, let's pop this in here. And we'll take Riggin's actual acetate off first of all. And so we figure out where we want things. And he can sit kind of on there, like that. Okay, that'll work. So we can have our sentiment on top of here, like so. the other magnet on. So take your time, don't rush it, because if you rush, that's when you make mistakes. And just have a plan, a bit of a plan. You don't have to stick to it, but it's good to have a little bit of a plan. So let's have this with Nocturne, the black. I could have gone for brown again. We'll have it pop. Now, as yet, I don't have an image of this stamp for my website, so when it goes live, it might be that it has a picture of a card with it on rather than the actual stamp, but we'll see. I'll try and get one today. I can nab one somewhere. Yeah, keep looking up, there may be a rainbow waiting for you. And as with Bonnie's card, remember we've got the raindrop stamp as well, which is quite a useful one to have. I may well add actually the raindrops into the section that's for this particular collection on my website. And also April would work really well, who's the fairy that's holding an umbrella. Yeah, she might work. Looking up. I'm trying to minimise the amount of tidying up I have to do later. Right, so here it is. You're not very chatty today. I see many comments coming through. And we'll put the acetate on here so we can make sure we've got. I could have done it that way, but I want to put his back leg on the K. The whole of him doesn't have to be actually stood on the sentiment, because remember he's got wings, so he can hover. But I want to try and get him. Because I'm not stood up, so I can't see properly. We'll go with that. And we're just going to do all the stamping in black, and then we can add some colour to his wings. What's quite nice actually is if you can use the Sakura Stardust pens, which I did on there. You can't see because maybe when they see it, have it at the studios, they might wiggle it, but I did use some of the colour on there is Sakura Stardust, which is it's nice to add those to your fairies. A little bit of glitter that's not going to go anywhere. Got quite a few dragons in the collection now. And again, I've pulled out a collection that's for dragons. There's one for foliage, there's one for flowers. It took me a long time to do it. But there's so many stamps. I mean, we're over 550 stamps now. So if you just go to the section and start ploughing through, you might give up the will to live if you want some of the older stamps especially. Chance to release. Come on, Wigan. I missed a bit, thought I did. That's better. So this white here in the back is in the background. Let's hold him up. So you can see that's on your paper, so there's nothing wrong with anything, it's just on the paper, but you can see all of his scales on his body, really well detailed. I think he's quite a cheeky chappy. He's got a cheeky look on his face, hasn't he? Christmas card. Yeah, I didn't really make Christmas cards. Where's the other bit? There it is. So that's our man Rigan, or Rigan, R-I-G-E-N. I don't know how you pronounce all these. Right, so now we know we've got to think about Rainy. In fact, what we'll do is we'll just swivel this around. So we can definitely butt it up into the corner. I get paranoid about it, things moving, because it's happened to me so many times. Right. Where are we? So Rainy could sit, she could sit on the star arch. And we know that she can sit on the honey hive as well. So she can sit on the star arch. You can see her sitting on the star arch. And you can sit on the hive as well. So you can sit, she can sit on lots of things. So, but this time we're going to have her sitting on the this time we're going to have her sitting on the rainbow arch. But because if you stamp the rainbow arch first and then her, then you're going to lose that kind of detail on her skirt. So what you want to do is you want to stamp her first. So let's get the acetate off of this as well. It's quite handy to use the acetate when you want to be very specific where you want things. So you can see she's got her hands out there. So you want to make sure that that's going to sit on the rainbow itself, which is fine. So she's going to be fine there. She's going to be just dandy. And obviously what you want to do is you want to do yourself a mask. And so I've got one that I've done with a piece of woodware masket. That's where she's going. Didn't really need to swap around. Check. Yes. Right. What's a tick? Do you mean likes? Jean's got her ticks working. I don't know what that's about. Oh, hang on. Let's get rid of that. Oh, that's it. We nearly had an Ed moment then. Do you remember? I can't remember who it was. I think it was Caroline. She said hello to Ed, who's in his pod now. Settled. He's fast asleep. You'll hear him snoring at some point probably. Yeah, I couldn't get rid of that, but I've managed to get rid of that. I think the dragon is, like I say, I think he's quite cheeky. He's either up to something, or he's a bit shocked, or surprised about something. There she is, there, Rainy. You can see all the detail on her. She's beautiful. Now, in an ideal world, when you're dealing with masks, especially on a paper that doesn't suck up the ink, you'd be wanting to perhaps go away and do something else while the ink dries a bit. But we've got to get on, so we're just going to suck it up and see. See, what happens is that sometimes the ink will transfer to the underside of the mask, so then when you want to use it again, it won't stick properly, or the the mask just won't stick because it's too wet where it's going. Oh, coffee. He really likes. Right, coffee's all gone. You won't have to hear me do that now. Right, so where's Rainy gone? Where's my packet gone? So I always keep my masks in the packet with my stamp, and I always put the backing back on again as well, because then it makes them last longer because they're not stuck to the packaging of the stamp. She's got quite a pattern going on because this is from the Floral Hive. So, and when you cut them out slightly inside the line, and that way you don't get a gap when you actually stamp on top. It's a bit of a challenge trying to get them lined up, especially when you've got hands and things. And it ends up being as near as we can get rather than perfect. I'm not bothered about the top, it doesn't matter. It's the legs that we're thinking about. In fact, that's not good enough. Sorry. Oh, get on there. You'll be watching me thinking, well, you know, if Julia's struggling like that, there's no way I'm going to bother. But it is worth bothering. It really is. Hand. Get your hand on. Not happy with her legs. It was better the first time round. Right, we're going with that. I'm not too bothered about the top. Every time I move the top bit, the bottom bit moves. It's because the ink is wet. Right, we're going with that now. Just staying. There's tweezers. Have I got tweezers somewhere? I've got an Allen key, that'll do. Right. Still not perfect, but it'll have to do. Right. So now we've got our star arch. Not star arch, rainbow arch. And let's do this properly. We want her hand. So it doesn't have to, we want her hands on, where's her other hand gone? Next to her wing. Like that. Let's get it straight-ish. It's very kind of blotchy arch, so it's not, it's like a hand-drawn one, which is quite cool. Okay, let's go with that and hope that that's all right. Put that there, like that. And let's do the rainbow in grey, because it's a bit lighter than black. So this is Morning Mist. And sometimes you'll find that the ink pulls the mask off as well. So there she's sat on there, and so she's not got there's not a gap, or there's a slight gap actually because of her foot, but it's not very obvious. But you know, it's nice and continuous, and you've not got any interference with her legs or her skirt or anything like that, so she's just sitting nicely on the arch. Let's just keep my mask. Obviously you could use it to kind of frame things, you know, have it coming in at the top as well, which might be quite cool. Obviously I'm trying to show you quite a few stamps, so we're going to bring in the star arch. There it is. Oh, grey pen, not black pen, actually. Yeah. And Caroline's saying a bit of black pen and the gap will disappear, but no, you want grey. So let's have a few stars coming in. Just down here. I think we'll do these in, what colour shall we do them? What's that? What kind of mustardy colour? That might be quite nice. Shall we do them in that colour? Golden Meadow. That'll fit, won't it? Let's try it. So with the stars, you've got some solids and you've got some outlines as well. So it works really well to be able to do some colouring in if you want to. And we'll do one at the top as well. So we'll bring in our acetate. I'm only doing it so that I don't have to make a mess of my paper, because remember the ink will still be wet. And we're bringing our Golden Meadow again. It's more of a mustardy yellow than the other yellow. The other yellow is called Cheerful. Yeah, I quite like that in that colour. It's quite subtle. Oh, magnets. Oh, for heaven's sake. So obviously we'll add a bit more colour, but we've just got mat it onto black as well. And then you've got that one. I do quite like actually that is almost like on the edge of where it's dark and it's light. That's kind of worked out quite nicely. I would definitely colour in, definitely use Prairie Rainbow colours with the wings of both of them as well. Anyway, you'll see when I actually do colour it in. The stars will work well for any time of year, actually, Sue, I think. So that's number 2. And to finish off, I thought we would do a tag, because you know I like my tags. I do like doing my tags. Tags are just, I just love them as bookmarks, and they're great for like presents, so you can send them with a card, because it's like a, they're like a gift, aren't they? Where's the other bit gone? You know, I always lose my little bits of acetate. There it is. Right, that's the star arch. So with the tag, I thought we'd do a version of this, so you can see one that's coloured, but we're going to do it slightly different, because we're going to pull in an idea that Art Angel had. If I can find it. Can't find it at the moment. Where she had, is it that one? Yeah, where she's got the dancing bee just peering around the corner. So I thought we'd do kind of an amalgam of my tag and Art Angel's card as well. So I might not use the trumpet vine, I don't know. So this is the fairy words, which are obviously out now already, and you'll find that in the sentiment section, you know, in the drop down bit, obviously, because they're sentiments. So I've got a tag here, and this is one of my Distress Oxide spray backgrounds, which you will find how to do it on my YouTube channel. Just go into the background section, backgrounds playlist, and you will see that. Okay, Di, see you. And let's just pop this in here. So we're going to go off the page a bit with the Floral Hive, because remember, not everything has to fit on the page. It can come off the page a wee bit. So, and I've also done a mask for this one as well, because we're going to have the dancing bee. Where's the dancing bees? Make sure there is. Yeah, I've got one peering around the corner. Okay, texture, that's that one. That's that one. That's that one. Oh, this is the bee set. So remember, when you're shopping, you might want to add the little bee set in as well. There's little 5 bees. There's rights and lefts and different sizes that you might want to add in. I'll put it in the bees and rainbows section, so as soon as that will be populated as soon as everything goes live. Have I kept them out? Yes, I've kept them out. I've kept them out so I can find them, and then I can't find them. Oh, I'm so special. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to have, let's think, so we can have the dancing bee coming around the outside. We're going to have it about there, I think. And this will, like I say, suck up the ink quicker, because it's watercolour card. It's the Sentimental Yours Super Smooth watercolour card, because it takes a lot of ink and a lot of water, but it will suck up the ink quicker than our papers. And, I don't want black, let's go for brown. Let's stick with my acorn, because I do like it. It's called acorn, yes, acorn. I do like it with the hive. And it's like a basket weave hive. Another little house, isn't it, really? So you can definitely use this with the regular bees if you're not into the comedy that is the dancing bees. And you've also got a little bee on the trumpet vine set as well, a little flying bee. Yes, it is a shame they retired that die, yes. I'm going to go again because it's not as dark as I'd like it because the ink has just been absorbed into the card. That's better. Look at the detail on that. Brilliant stamp. Fabulous. So that's the Floral Hive, because it's got a flower on it and it's a hive. And then so we can do the dancing bee. We've got, again, piece of Borderware Masket sheet, and I've cut inside the line a little bit, so it's not perfect, but that's how I want it. This is a new mask, I've not used this one before. It's only really at the top that we're bothered, because that's where the bee's going to be looking round from. And which one do we have? This one, I think. So we can have him just looking around the corner there. So we just do him first. And then we can probably get, in fact, no, I'll leave it just like that because I want to take the mask off to do the other one. Let's do this in the Nocturne. These bees are black and whatever colour you want them to be. You can do them in all sorts of colours, like with the rainbow ones that Art Angel did. Because that's the thing, when you're stamping, you do things whatever colour you want. That's all right, Alison. Just going to make it a little bit darker. So I'm not happy with his hand there. Now that could be something to do with the oxidisation of the ink. Because I make my backgrounds with the oxide spray and water, well, that's better, then the ink is oxidised already, so once it's oxidised, it doesn't move. So although I don't like stamping on top of oxide ink, as in another stamped image, I do like stamping on top of oxide sprays. And you will find all the oxide sprays and oxide inks and VersaFine Clairs on my website. There is a new Distress ink being released on the 28th of January, and I will be opening up pre-orders for that later today. So you'll find that. So there he is, peering around the edge. Let me hold that up so you can see. It's such fun, isn't it? Such fun. Okay, so that's going back in my Floral Hive packet to keep for another day. And I want to have another dancing bee on this side, and I think we might be able to get that one in. Yeah, we can just about get that one in. Let's have that one here. Obviously I'll colour this in, just like on my other one. It looks fine. Your eyes are so funny. This one looks... Look at this one's eyes. He looks a little bit cross-eyed. They've all, the way the stamps have been done, it's almost like they've got boggly eyes already. So you don't need to put boggly eyes on them. Right. Now up the top, as a surround, we could have the berry twigs again. We could bring in the trumpet vine like I did here, which is quite a nice one to have at the top. But I thought, let's just have a quick look, because we could bring in some of the, just to be different from the original one, we could, obviously it's different because he's peering around the edge, we could bring in some of these, but we will want some twigs or some sort of foliage at the top anyway, so that we've got something for it to hang from. So what about if we bring, because we haven't used them, if we bring in these heart twig branches, one of those at the top, and then we can suspend the honey ones from those. I mean, I know the hearts are going to be on the walk, but it doesn't matter. Let's do this. It's just nice to do. See, this is it. You've got a plan, but then you go off at a tangent, because that's what plans are all about, going off at a tangent. It kind of, it's your prompt, if you like, and your prompt just sends you in lots of different places. So let's have some Shady Lane greens. I have got blue or purple or some other colour on here, so we'll see what colour we get. And we may or may not end up with the sentiment on here or not. We'll see. There's just a little bit of foliage at the top. Obviously, you can. It's a bit of a mess because we've got all the stuff going on in the background, but obviously once I fetch it off, you'll see. So that's your heart twig arches, right and the left you get. Fetch our honey ones in. We could, of course, brought some honeycomb texture in there as well. Shall we or shan't we? We could have done. Might not want to bring it in now, but you can see that that would have gone in quite nicely there. Oh, let's bring a bit in. Hold on a sec. Just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little. And let's bring in, actually, we use the Wendy Becky. We use the sunflower. Now, the Wendy Becky dye inks, although they are dye inks, they don't tend to pool like most dye inks. Let me show you. Bit of scrap paper. they do give you quite a good impression, even though it's a dyeing. Much better than Distress for stamping with, because they are made for stamping. I can get these as special order items on my website. I have got a few in stock, but not many colours. Right, so let's just bring that in here. I'm not going to press so hard where the foliage is. Ideally, I'd have done this first before the foliage. Just a little bit in there in the background, because it's not that obvious actually, because the cards sucked it up, but I can just about see it. Let's just show you. Just about see it in the background there. It's only a tiny bit. It's only a tiny bit. Okay. And obviously dyeings are going to wash off your stamps nicely, better than archivals. Anywho, let's go back to this honey wand, and let's have it coming out. Let's have one there. I keep on moving it with my finger. Let's have this in acorn. And then obviously I would colour these in. It's just inspired that Art Angel did these upside down. She thinks of lots of different things. I don't know how her brain works, but it works really well. That's why design teams are fantastic, because they give you the prompts that you need to get the most out of your stamps. And let's have another one. Up here. Obviously you can do a lot of this freehand, but you get used to using your stamping platform, and then it's all about it's just like an insurance thing, isn't it? Do we want a third, or should we just have two? You're not supposed to have just twos, are you? I quite like it with two rather than three, because then what we can do is bring the sentiment in. So let's just do two, because I like breaking rules. We've got two bees, two honey ones, so we're completely breaking the rules. Get rid of that. Get rid of that, so don't use that by accident. One. And then we're bringing one of these sentiments. So I think that these dancing bees make me smile. So we're going to just bring in the word smile from the fairy word set, because I think anybody picking this up is going to smile. Okay. So obviously I'll colour that in, and then that's going to go on my tag like so, which is entirely different to that one, which is coloured in and over a bit different thing. I quite like that. I'm quite happy with that. So that's your sneak peek set of demos, 3 today. So we've done the swan to start with. So I'll colour it all in and stick it all together, and I will share them on my page and on the Fairy Hooks store page and wherever else I can put them. So we've done that one, we've done that one, and we've done the tag as well. So I hope you've enjoyed that. As I said, the products are going to be available on my website from midnight tonight. The stock's here. If there's anything that goes out of stock, just click on the email when available button, and I suspect I'll have to order next week anyway, and you'll be notified as soon as they're in stock if you click on that button. I suspect that the dancing bees, I won't be able to get any more for a couple of weeks, because I suspect they're going to be the things that actually sell out first, both on Crate and Craft and with me, and also on fairyhugs.com. Because don't forget that if you're outside the UK, you can get the stamps from fairyhugs.com. Don't forget that videos are all available on my Julia Watts Crafts YouTube channel, and you can also there's also a fantastic YouTube channel. It's been renamed. The Fairy Stamper one is now the Fairy Hug Store YouTube channel, so there's lots of videos on there, and I'll be uploading some of my videos on there as well. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to catch Tanya at 3 and 7 on CNC.